Hello, it's time to get that intuition muscle going. Okay, it's your strongest gift and it's the one that you need online for your healing journey, for your soul's journey to be on the path that you want to be on in this life. I truly believe that my sense of alignment and strength within myself is definitely been because of my intuition guiding me, of me learning to trust it and see where it's taking me. And now I feel more solid in myself and that I am able to make decisions for me, not from my conditioned self that was very much fear-based and told me that whenever something goes wrong, I need to seek the help of certain professionals, certain experts, it could be even teachers. And ultimately, I was really starting a whole new dogma and telling me that I should be doing things in a very set way that really wasn't true to me. But I was super diligent, super committed to the processes, to the steps, and I always did it, whether it was a diet or an exercise program, a form of mental health therapy and healing. I was so committed to doing all the work. It's even been within the spiritual field actually. So doing the right steps in shadow work. It's been taking the right steps in frequency healing, lots of healing actually, and how to heal and how to do cards, because I love tarot and oracle as well. Just so much I have followed dogma and rules that has been set by other people, and it really hasn't actually aligned with me. It's only been since I've let go and allowed my intuition to guide me to the right places, things, people, that things have really opened up. And there's a strength within me now that is like, I've got this. I know what I'm doing, and I trust my intuition is always guiding me every step of the way. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to go back to certain professionals if I feel I need to, if I feel my intuition is guiding me there. And I'll give you an example of this. Only a few months ago, actually, I had a very good friend stop by, and I hadn't seen her for ages, and she just looked transformed, to be honest. She was looking very liberated and free, and I was like, wow, what's happened to you? Tell me your secrets. I need to know. And she had said that she had done EMDR. And I said, this is crazy. You wouldn't believe the amount of places I have heard EMDR come up recently. I've either seen it on something, I've heard it somewhere, someone else has told me about it, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is too much of a coincidence for it not to be a sign for me. Okay, so when I'm talking about intuition, yeah, I guess I'm talking about your guides bringing you messages through, whether it's coming from your soul, whether it's coming from your spirit team, your guides, your ancestors, God, whoever you believe in, okay, that it is coming through for a reason and it's there for you. So I felt I was definitely guided to seek out an EMDR therapist specifically. And I had researched a little bit about this tool used in psychotherapy or mental health work, and it really resonated with me as a bit of somatic work. It's definitely going to the subconscious rather than that shallow counseling talk therapy stuff that I'd tried in the past, and actually felt a lot of shame from my therapist. So this was prior to having really being in my spiritual self, I would say. And I was definitely following my own childhood conditioning of, you've got this issue in your life, stress, anxiety, whatever, you go to a counsellor, and didn't really have to be a specific one, just a counsellor will fix you. It didn't work for me. It made me feel more shit. It definitely hindered my growth and had me looping around in shame and guilt for why I wasn't able to conform to the majority of people and just get on with it. Okay, so now that I'm more spiritual and I'm more in tune with myself, being authentic to me and owning that, and not betraying myself, not neglecting that aspect of myself ever again, I am so thankful to be having my intuition leading the way more. Okay, and it hasn't been easy. There's been times I've really struggled with this. I've been like, oh, no, but my logic is telling me something else. This doesn't make sense. I'm being guided to this person or this place and it doesn't make sense to me. You know, and I've got so many examples of how my intuition has guided me and it's worked out amazingly. Even just this recent move to this house, which is 12 hours drive from the town I was located at. I was fine in that town. I had some opportunities, my children were happy. However, I very, very strongly felt I needed to move back to my childhood town for some reason, and I didn't know why, but I trusted it and I did it anyway. It was very hard. It is still hard. However, I'm seeing more and more that I'm supposed to be here. It feels very strong and I know it. There's other things that have happened. For example, I'm like, I just have to go for a drive here. I have to go for a drive to this place today. And I go. And then I talk to the most interesting people and there's always a gift in it. And I'm just like, wow. And I know I was meant to be there at that specific place. However, I couldn't have possibly planned it in my head. It's a feeling inside me that tells me to go there. And intuition can show up in other ways, you know, and you could say this is borderline, you know, psychic stuff. Whereas, you know, you've got your clairvoyance, your clairsentience, your clairaudience, things like of that nature that are guiding you somewhere. Like for me, it's definitely clairsentience. I get a feeling to go and I listen to that. So I'm just so happy that this part of me is online because my life is feeling so much more balanced, and I truly believe this is a way to your ultimate fulfillment in your life, is by allowing your intuition to guide you along the way instead of trying to follow the conditioning that you've been told, you know. And honestly, it's not just Western conditioning. As I said, that's also in the spiritual field. So the best thing that you can do for yourself is really follow this superpower and allow it to start having more influence. You know, these small things, you know, you might get a thought about something, you're like, where did that come from? That's crazy. That just keeps coming up. You might be doing the dishes and just some like menial task, and you get this idea or this thought that keeps coming up, and it's not gentle, it's not fear-inducing or anything. It's just like, oh yes, that's right, I have to do that. I have to look up this thing, and you go and do it. And it's so cool because it's just guiding you along the way. You don't need to put a lot of effort into it. You just have to allow. You don't need to go searching for it all the time. In fact, if you do, you're probably likely to block it. So just allow, just carry on as you're doing things, and just recognize when you might have a thought come in or a feeling, or you might drive past something and you just get a hunch or something, and start stretching that muscle, because it's going to pay off for you, especially in your healing journey, because it doesn't mean that you're always going to have an amazing experience, it's going to be beautiful. There's always going to be some difficult times for you to go through, especially if you're healing or transforming, right? But it's awesome if we know that we're taking the right steps along that path, that we're not going to have to suffer for too long when we're trying to follow dogma or conditioning that has told us to do things another way that isn't right for us, and it's causing more conflict within our system, more confusion and anxiety. Okay, so please stretch this muscle. It's amazing. It is your superpower. And if you do have any cool insights that you'd like to share, please do so here. I'd love to read those. And that is it for me. So all the best, and we'll talk soon. Bye.